Fun cars are a dying breed, that's why in the era of electrified crossovers, a straight-six powered coupe is a nice change. This is the BMW M240i xDrive. Is there something interesting under the aubergine paint? Let's find out. This episode is brought to you by Carvago. Be smart, choose your car online with Carvago. The new BMW M240i is, and you're not going to believe this, larger, more powerful and quicker than the model it replaces. The current generation is called the G42 and it replaces the F22. Just so we're all on the same page, some time ago the BMW range expanded so much that odd numbers weren't enough. Therefore, BMW decided to assign even numbers to coupes and soon afterwards gave us the 2 Series Active Tourer minivan, which shares its underpinnings with the BMW X1 and the Mini Countryman. Does it make sense? No? I know how you feel. And to make things even more complicated, the 2 Series G42 is on the CLAR platform, which is for the bigger models from 3 Series upwards, and not on the budget UK L platform, for cars 2 Series and below. I thought I saw the light at the end of the tunnel when I realized that CLAR platform cars are rear-wheel biased and have the letter G in the internal model designation. And the UK L platform cars are all front-wheel biased and have the letter F. Except for the 2 Series Active Tourer, which is internally called the U06. Thank you, BMW. And now I need to vent and drive something, so let's go. Cars with displacement exceeding 2 liters and more than 4 cylinders are increasingly rare these days, so I'm going to let BMW off the hook with the model number scheme. You're buying an experience, not numbers, right? And the BMW M240i experience is intoxicating. At first, the BMW M240i xDrive doesn't give away its character. There's a bit of a growl from the engine and a roar from the exhaust, but nothing extraordinary. You put the standard 8-speed Sport Steptronic in drive, and off you go. It's comfortable, quiet, just another BMW. So you're driving through the city, listening to the music, and then you see the city limits road sign. You press the accelerator a bit harder and the force awakens. Looking for a car for family, fun or work? Carvago.com is the place for you. Carvago is a modern platform with vetted cars from all over Europe. You can buy a car from the comfort of your home and Carvago will deliver it to your doorstep. Carvago.com features more than 700,000 cars from vetted dealers across Europe. You select a car on Carvago. Carvago sends out its experts and presents you with Car Audit, a full report on the actual condition of the car. Car Audit keeps track of 270 technical points, includes photos as well as final evaluation by a Carvago certified technician. Next, you simply select financing and delivery options, you sign a deal with Carvago, and Carvago buys the vetted car for you. You have 14 days after delivery to test drive and return the car without giving a reason. The price also includes up to 12 months warranty depending on the region. So, what's your car from Carvago going to be like? The BMW M240i reaches 100 km/h very quickly, and then if the road conditions permit, it keeps going and going and going like that Energizer bunny. It seems like the power in this car is endless, and that's before you turn the sport mode on. Because in sport mode, BMW M240i xDrive with launch control, oh, that's quick. I managed to beat the factory time by a tenth of a second, and I suspect that on a less worn tire, I could achieve an even better result. This press car has seen some thorough testing by my esteemed colleagues, and one of the issues I found is with the rear shocks. I watched a review by a fellow YouTuber who experienced the same problem in this very car almost 6 months ago. According to the BMW PR department, they were aware of the problem and they replaced the shock absorber since then. However, the problem's back and it sounds like DCC on VWs a few years ago. If this is indeed just a bug, not a feature, I'm sure BMW will make sure the supplier fixes the issue, but during your test drive, pay attention to any noises coming from the rear suspension. Going back to the driving impressions, the BMW M240i comes with adaptive suspension as standard, depending on the market. In comfort and eco mode, the car almost floats, but in sport mode, it becomes really stiff and the M240i can corner with speeds significantly exceeding what is socially accepted among the hybrid driving, tree-hugging lot. Oh boy. At launch, the M240i was offered only with xDrive. The rear-wheel drive version was launched in mid-2022. This is the xDrive, but the all-wheel drive is rear-biased, which you can feel in the corners. Unless you live somewhere like Dubai or California, xDrive may be the way to go. There's a lot of power to put down, and the xDrive is just quicker. Specs. The 3-liter inline 6 in the BMW M240i produces 374 horsepower. That's more than in the BMW M2 F86. Oh gosh, another rear-wheel drive F. Have mercy on me, BMW. It's more than in the BMW Z4 M40i, way more than in the old M235i, and it makes 500 Nm of torque. But as the M240i xDrive weighs over 1700 kilograms, the engine has a lot of work to do. What about the competition? The Mercedes-Benz C43 AMG Coupe is a 4 Series competitor. The Audi RS3 is smaller despite pretending to be an estate. The Mercedes-Benz CLA 45 AMG S has a 2-liter engine. The same goes for the Jaguar F-Pace. So you would have to go for the 5-liter to get all-wheel drive as an option. The Porsche Cayman is a 2-seater, rear-wheel drive only, also quite small. So it looks like the closest competitor for the BMW M240i xDrive is, in fact, the Porsche 911 Carrera 4, minus the engine placement. I know it sounds crazy, but the performance is similar, the dimensions are similar, both are 2+2 coupes. Okay, the 911 Carrera 4 costs about twice as much as the M240i xDrive, but that makes the Beamer an even better deal, especially if you don't want the Porsche stiffness. Because the M240i is quick and precise, but nowhere close to the 911 in terms of how stiff the whole car is. In the Porsche, you feel the road through the steering wheel and through the seat. The BMW also doesn't sound like the Porsche. For me, that's actually a good thing. I'm one of those people who are not turned on by the boxer engine sound. I prefer inline 6s and V8s, and you can drop me a comment that I'm stupid. Anyway, and what does the M240i sound like? Inside, it's not very interesting. On the one hand, the soundproofing is quite good, but on the other hand, even in sport mode, any sound coming from the outside is overpowered by the sound symposer. So that's what it sounds like in sport mode inside. And this is what it sounds like from the outside. Speaking of sounds and soundproofing, the windscreen is acoustic. It gets an acoustic treatment as standard, I suppose. There is not much wind noise. However, as you drive on the motorway, the road noise becomes noticeable, and that's something I also noticed in the 1 Series, which I know is in the UKL platform, and this is the CLAR platform, and let's not get started about this. The brakes are much better than what I remember from the M235i. They bite from the top. Having said that, I think the brakes and tires on this test car have seen better days, and there's much more stopping power with fresh consumables. Driver aids are great. With adaptive cruise control and lane keeping assist, I could go on a long road trip in the M240i. The only drawback may be the 52-liter petrol tank, which seems to empty really quickly, especially when you go off the motorway and start having fun. I was averaging 11 to 12 liters per 100 kilometers combined. In eco mode, you can get a better result, but you don't buy an M240i to drive in eco mode, right? The coupe body style may not be the most practical, but it usually draws attention. The new BMW 2 Series is no exception, although not necessarily for the right reasons. In order to really appreciate the design, I suggest you look at the car rear 3/4 from down low, then you don't see the awkwardly bulging rear fenders. I like the headlights and the rear lamps, both LED. The Sport M mirrors look cool. The exhaust is real, meaning the holes integrated in the rear bumper lead to real exhaust pipes. I also appreciate BMW didn't give the 2 Series the monster grille treatment, though who knows what the M2 is going to look like. The grille has active cooling, meaning the flaps open and close depending on whether the engine needs more or less cooling. And check out the power dome. The interior is plain and simple BMW. There is still the BMW OS7 infotainment, and that's a good thing. Even if the instrument cluster is all digital these days, at least it's separate from the infotainment screen, unlike in the BMW iX or the new 2 Series Active Tourer, where there is a wide panel running across half the cockpit. There are still some physical buttons here and there, and that's good, and we still get the iDrive controller. Yay! There are decent size door pockets, and cup holders are okay as well. Storage under the armrest and in the glove box is average size. The sport seats are standard, at least there should be, and they're electrically operated with a memory function. And I like these illuminated stripes here on the doors. The red one pulsates when the door is open or not closed properly. Access to the rear is easier than you expect. In the back there are 2 seats. The backrest splits 40-20-40. Because of the tinted windows, it is quite dark back here. For a coupe, it's comfortable enough, but I re-watched my M235i and M2 videos, and over there the rear space seemed at least as good as in the new 2 Series. I suppose the driver and the front passenger got most of the extra space, if there is any. And the larger sunroof eats into the rear headroom more than in the previous generation. The boot volume remains unchanged at 390 liters, but the boot seems to have a better overall shape. BMW said in the press release there is, and I quote here, a 20-liter increase in primary capacity in its directly viewable area. I suppose that means a larger boot opening. Any suggestions? There are the same flimsy shopping bag hooks. There are levers to fold the rear seats, but the backrests are not spring-loaded, so you have to push them. And there's a 12-volt socket. Prices of the BMW 2 Series start at €39,400 for the 218i Coupe. The M240i starts at €56,000 and the M240i xDrive at €58,000. If you don't care much for performance, save yourself 10 grand and get the 230i, and if you want performance, go for the xDrive. This test car costs €69,990. I'm really happy to see cars like the BMW M240i still being offered. It would make a great daily, you can take it on a road trip, and on the weekends you can find some twisty roads to have fun on, and it costs half of what a 911 does. And how do you like the BMW M240i? Do you think it's really an alternative for the 911? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like my sarcastic, down-to-earth and possibly mildly amusing car reviews, join me every Friday at 3 p.m. Central European Time, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video as it helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.